Have you ever wondered how sound is produced? Whether it's the calming notes of a piano or the boom of thunder, sound is all around us. But how exactly does it work? Let's dive in. Sound is a form of energy that travels through different mediums. At the heart of sound are vibrations. When an object vibrates like a guitar string being plucked, it causes the air particles around it to move. These particles bump into each other, creating a ripple effect that we call sound waves. Now, these sound waves can travel through various mediums. In solids, like metal or wood, sound travels efficiently because the particles are packed closely together. In liquids, like water, sound moves too, since water is denser than air. And in gases, like the air we breathe, sound waves carry all the way to our ears. Once these sound waves are on their journey, they travel outward in all directions, much like ripples on a pond. The frequency, or the number of vibrations per second, determines the pitch of the sound. High frequency means a high pitch, and low frequency means a low pitch. When sound waves finally reach our ears, they make our eardrums vibrate. These vibrations are passed to tiny bones in our middle ear, the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. The stirrup connects to the cochlea, a spiral-shaped organ filled with fluid and hair cells. These hair cells turn the vibrations into electrical signals, which our brain then interprets as sound. Now for some fun what-if scenarios. Imagine time traveling. Would you hear sounds from the past? Sound waves don't have a timestamp, so theoretically, yes. And what about black holes? Near a black hole, you'd experience silence, since sound needs a medium to travel through, and black holes have none. And quantum sound, imagine sound waves at quantum scales producing a unique symphony, but would we hear it? That's still a mystery. Let's take a moment to compare it with another fundamental phenomenon, light. While both are essential to our daily lives, they have intriguing differences that set them apart. First, let's look at their nature. Light is an electromagnetic wave. It consists of oscillating electric and magnetic fields that travel through space without requiring a medium. This allows light to travel through the vacuum of space. On the other hand, sound is a mechanical wave that requires a medium such as air, water, or solids for propagation. It involves compressions and rarefactions caused by vibrating objects. Next, consider their speed. Light travels at an astonishing speed of approximately 300,000 kilometers per second in a vacuum. That's about 880,000 times faster than the speed of sound, which is approximately 343 meters per second in air at room temperature. This difference explains why we see lightning before we hear thunder during a storm. Now let's explore their sources and propagation. Light originates from luminous sources like the sun, stars, or artificial light bulbs. It travels in straight lines unless it encounters obstacles or interacts with other materials. Sound, however, is produced by vibrating objects, such as vocal cords or musical instruments, and it spreads out in all directions from the source. When it comes to reflection and refraction, light and sound behave differently. When light hits a smooth surface like a mirror, it reflects at the same angle it strikes the surface, known as the angle of incidence, equaling the angle of reflection. Light also refracts, bending when it passes from one medium into another, like air to water. Sound waves can also reflect, creating echoes, and refract, bending when they travel through different mediums, but these phenomena are less noticeable compared to light. Let's not forget about dispersion and frequency. White light can be split into its component colors using a prism, a phenomenon known as dispersion. Each color corresponds to a different wavelength. Sound frequencies determine the pitch of the sound. Higher frequencies result in higher pitched notes, while lower frequencies produce deeper sounds. Lastly, let's touch on their applications. Light enables us to see, capture images through photography, and study distant celestial objects in astronomy. Fiber optics use light to carry signals for communication, replacing traditional wires. Sound, on the other hand, allows us to enjoy music, communicate through speech, and express emotions. Technologies like sonar use sound waves to detect underwater objects, while ultrasound is used in medical imaging to view inside the human body. What happens when sound waves collide? When sound waves meet, several intriguing phenomena can occur, each with its own unique effects. Let's explore a few scenarios. First, we have constructive interference. When two sound waves meet in phase, meaning their crests and troughs align, they reinforce each other. This phenomenon is called constructive interference. The resulting wave has greater amplitude or intensity than either of the individual waves. Think of it as a musical duet where the singers harmonize perfectly, creating a richer and more powerful sound. Next, there's destructive interference. If two sound waves meet out of phase, with crests aligning with troughs, they cancel each other out. This is known as destructive interference. The resulting wave has reduced or even zero amplitude. Imagine two people singing slightly off-key. It creates silence or a softer sound, much like hitting the mute button on a remote. Then we have beats. When two sound waves with slightly different frequencies overlap, they create a pattern of alternating constructive and destructive interference. This pattern produces a phenomenon known as beats. You've likely heard beats when tuning musical instruments. The wah-wah effect in music also arises from beat frequencies, adding a unique layer to the sound. Another interesting phenomenon is standing waves. In certain situations, such as when sound waves bounce back and forth between two surfaces, standing waves form. Nodes, points of minimal displacement, and antinodes, points of maximum displacement, occur along the wave. Musical instruments like guitars and flutes rely on standing waves to produce their characteristic sounds. Resonance is another captivating effect. When an external force, like another sound wave, matches the natural frequency of an object, resonance occurs. Think of a singer shattering a glass by hitting its resonant frequency. Similarly, bridges can collapse due to resonance caused by wind, demonstrating the immense power of this phenomenon. Lastly, let's talk about complex waveforms. When multiple sound sources emit waves simultaneously, such as in a crowded room, their superposition creates complex waveforms. Our ears perceive this as a blend of different sounds, speech, music, laughter, and ambient noise, all merging into a unique auditory experience. Sound waves colliding create a symphony of interactions, each contributing to the rich tapestry of sounds we hear daily. Isn't it amazing how much complexity lies behind something as simple as the sounds around us? Let's delve into how sound waves travel through various materials. Sound waves can move through solids, liquids, and gases, each offering unique propagation characteristics. First up, solids. Materials like metal, stone, and wood allow sound waves to pass efficiently. In solids, particles are closely packed, facilitating the transmission of vibrations. Think of tapping a wooden table. The sound travels through the solid structure, reaching your ears almost instantly. This efficient transmission is why certain musical instruments like xylophones and marimbas are made of solid materials. Next, let's dive into liquids. Our water is a prime example of a liquid through which sound waves can travel. When you're underwater in a swimming pool, you can hear sounds due to the water's density. The particles in liquids are less tightly packed than in solids, but still close enough to transmit sound waves effectively. This is why marine animals like dolphins and whales communicate through underwater sound waves, which can travel great distances in the ocean. Lastly, gases. Air, our most common gas, serves as a medium for sound waves. Sound waves move through air, creating the audible world around us. When you hear a friend's voice or music, it's because of air vibrations. The particles in gases are spread out, making sound travel slower compared to solids and liquids. However, this slower propagation allows us to experience a wide range of sounds in our daily lives.